Welcome students to week 5, and you are more than, that's my other school. So welcome to week 5. So this week in the week 5 forum, all you have to do is put your rough draft into the week 5 forum. And so all your first posts are due by Wednesday. And so they're all due today. So when you have your forums, you have 2 deadlines. You have the Wednesday deadline for your first post, and then you have until Sunday to post it to students. And so this week is your first time that we're all going to be doing peer review. And so what is peer review? So peer review is when you look over someone else's paper and you give the other person suggestions on how they can fix their paper so that the other people can get a better writing grade. So you think to yourself, well, what can I do to improve their grade? So you would look over their essay structure first. You make sure that they have a thesis statement as the last sentence of the first paragraph. You make sure that the thesis statement has a topic, an opinion, and reasons. And then you also make sure that if they're writing a narrative essay, you make sure that the moral of the story, that's the life lesson that the reader is supposed to learn, that's the same thing as the thesis statement, also appears as the last sentence of the first paragraph, that's the intro, and the first sentence of the conclusion. Then you make sure that the first sentence, that is the topic sentence of every body paragraph, matches your thesis statement. Now, if you're writing a narrative, you make sure that the story makes sense, that the story relates to the life lesson that's being taught, and that paragraph 2 is the setting. Paragraph 3 will be the climax, the most exciting part of the story. Paragraph 4 will become your did I do that right? Resolution, and then you have your conclusion. And so that would be someone who writes a narrative or a moral. If you are going to write an essay with I became a nurse because, then you would have reason 1, reason 2, reason 3, and then reason 1 would become paragraph 2. Reason 3 would be paragraph, did I just do that right? Paragraph 1, anyway, the 3 reasons become your body paragraphs. And so that's going to be, so you make sure that they have good essay structure first. Then second, you make sure that they have good punctuation and good grammar. Now that's the old-fashioned way of doing peer review, is that you look through someone's essay structure, you give them suggestions about, well, I think that this is a good story, I think this is weak, I think this is strong, I think you have one central, and make sure that each essay has one central idea. So that's how we do a peer review the old-fashioned way. The second way, with the advent of AI, the second way to do peer review is you go to ChatGPT, you put in the prompt, give essay feedback on essay structure, grammar, punctuation, and tone. Then you cut and paste, without that person's name, the other person's essay, and then you press enter. And also, and then ChatGPT will give you a feedback, and sometimes it will even revise that person's essay completely. And so whatever it is, then you cut and paste that feedback into your post to students. And that way, students, that's a second way of giving a peer review. But if you don't like AI, because I've had a couple of students who don't like AI, and they want their own authentic voice, then you can do the peer review the old-fashioned way by looking at the essay structure and grammar. Now, if you still need more samples of what an essay, a peer review looks like, you can go to the peer review PowerPoint that I emailed to everybody last week. So you have to go through your email and look for the peer review PowerPoint. Also, I posted the peer review PowerPoint to your announcements. And so you should make it a habit that every time you sign into the classroom, that you also look at your syllabus, and you look at the announcements, and you look at your email, because that's where I post all of my notes. And so that's going to be this week's, what you're going to do for this week, for the week 5 forum. All of the forums from now on, week 5 through week 11, will all be peer review forums. So from week 5 forward, you are going to be using either ChatGPT or you're going to do the peer review yourself. Now, why are we doing peer review? The purpose of peer review is that when you look at other people's papers, you reinforce your knowledge of essay structure. You reinforce all the things that you learn by reading in the textbook. So you can even give suggestions from the textbook. You could say, well, the textbook says you need to have essay coherence, and the textbook defines essay coherence as, or the textbook. So you can also cite the textbook in your peer review if you want. This will help reinforce your knowledge of your quiz. And then if you can't remember all the words, and of course the handy dandy index cards come in handy. So as you're doing your peer review, you can look at your index cards and say, oh yeah, she's got her thesis statement. And then, oh, she's got her topic sentence. Oh, and she's got her whatever it is. And then you've got all your definitions, and you could say, well, you know, the book says that the definition for a good topic sentence is that a topic sentence always defines the main idea of the paragraph. So if you can't remember it off the top of your head, that's what index cards are for. And so that helps you study, and that's how people used to do it before AI. We had low tech. I did this every single, I think every single recording is, I feel like I'm a salesman for this. Anyway, so that's what you're going to do for week 5 peer review. And then week 6, except for week 6, what we're going to do is we're going to go over how to revise a paper. So I'm going to, and we're going to talk about different ways in which we are going to revise our paper. And that's a little bit different than the other forums. And so that's all I'm going to go over. I won't go over 7, 8, 9, 10. And then for the free writes, the ones that you're doing, the warm-ups, that's really good to warm up your writing. You just write whatever you can think of off the top of your head for 5 to 10 minutes. So that's to warm up, like pre-writing, to warm up your head to get used to writing. So that way you don't freeze when you write. And so when I grade for those, there's no right or wrong. So that's the easiest thing to grade, because I don't have to grade for grammar, I don't have to grade for topic, because you're just writing off the top of your head. And so that is pure creativity. And then I want to go over, I don't know, Star, are you interested in learning, in going over again APA?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I'll go over it ever so briefly. So APA stands for, what does it stand for again? This is review, so that means it should be like, it stands for American
Psychological
Association. American Psychological Association.
Not the American. Okay.
And then why do we use APA? In what fields?
Science and medical field, to give people credit for their work.
Excellent. Yes. So we use APA for social sciences and in business, and to give the researcher credit for what he did. Now, why, in what way do we use APA? Do we use it for numbers, percentages, and statistics and figures? Why would we use it always for numbers? Why do we have to always cite the source?
For accuracy?
For accuracy. What else? You just said it. You just said the reason already.
To give people credit for their research.
Yeah, because it could take somebody years to come up with all those numbers, or they spend time. Time is money, and so they spent valuable time researching. Usually it's unpaid, and so therefore the most you can do is give them credit. Now, what happens if you don't give credit and you just write the number as if you're the one who did the research without giving credit? What is that considered plagiarism?
Plagiarism.
Yeah, and what happens if a student plagiarizes? Do you get a high grade for plagiarizing?
No, you don't get any credit for that work because it wasn't yours.
Excellent. So that's why we always cite our sources. So that's why we have to know our APA really well. And so therefore there are 2 kinds of citations. What are the 2 kinds of citations in APA? We have the direct quote. What
Oh,
is
the
it?
direct quote or the where we put it in
Para.
quotation marks.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
When you have a direct quote, that is when you quote verbatim, word per word.
What they said.
Exactly what the source says. And so usually you do that with the numbers as well. So if you say 75% of Americans are obese, and just like you said, we use quotation marks. And then what do we put next to the citation? The author's
Name.
what else?
Their the article title.
No, that's the reference citation. So this is the in-text citation. So the in-text citation, the direct quote, the paraphrase quote goes
And the year?
Yes, you put the author's name and the year and the page number. So author, date, page number for a direct quote. And then you put you put this direct quote in-text citation inside the body of your paper. And then a paraphrase quote is when what do you do with a paraphrase quote?
Like you said, they said that you're summarizing.
Excellent.
You're
Yes.
not doing a direct quote.
Yes. So when you summarize, most Americans are overweight. Then you're paraphrasing the direct quote of 75% of Americans are fat. And therefore, you would put in the author's name and what else?
Where the information came from.
Yes.
The
author's name and the date. Yeah. And so you always have to be the date always has to be within 10 years, within the last 10 years. Otherwise, the source is too old. Unless you're studying literature, and then that's timeless, like Shakespeare. And so that's why they use a different notation system. But that's why in MLA, for example, you guys don't have to know that. In humanities, it's author's name and page number. And so no date, because Shakespeare in 1600 is the same thing as Shakespeare in 2024, especially if you're citing the works of Shakespeare. So that's why, but in social sciences, anything that existed in 1600 is way different than 2024. 1965 is not the same thing as 1985 and 2024. So any kind of field that requires recent discoveries, therefore the date is more important. So that's why we have the author and the date. Do we need a page number for a paraphrase quote?
No,
that's good. You actually remembered that. We only need the page number. Why do we use a page number for the direct quote and not a page number for the paraphrase quote?
So that it can be clearly established.
Yeah, so if you're a researcher, if you're a student doing a paper and you want to see exactly where that number occurs, then you can look it up, and then you can write more about it. So it's for researchers. But if you're paraphrasing it, then you don't, and the same thing with if you're getting something off a web page, then you put the paragraph number instead of the page number, okay? So that's how you do an in-text citation. So that's about 50% of your APA done. And then the reference citation, where do we put the reference citations?
At the conclusion of the...
At the conclusion, after the last page of your paper. So what constitutes the reference citation? What do we put into the reference citation?
The name of the person we're giving credit to.
Right, then what?
The year.
The year, the date. Then what?
The name of the source or title of the writing.
Article name, italicized usually. And then what do we put after that?
Would it be like the paragraph or page number, or no?
No, it's too soon. It's where you got it from, what website, what journal, what book you got it from, and then you put in the volume name. If it's a journal, you have to italicize the journal name and not the article name. If it's a website name, then you italicize the article name and not the journal name. So that's the only difference. And then you put in the website name and retrieved today's date from web address. Okay, and that's it.
Gotcha.
That's it for your reference citation. And then if you want more of a reference, you should go to www. What was that website again that I said last time to buy your APA manual?
Uh, it was a word before the ADP. I can't remember. It's in my notebook. I don't know.
www.apa.org. So you can go and
I
buy.
thought it was a word before ADP. Okay, never mind.
It's a website address. Yeah, so that's
Okay.
where you go to buy your own APA manual. And I say that because some professors at Fortis are very, very particular about APA. If you do it just a little bit wrong, you either get a low grade, you get accused of plagiarism, or you get a 0, or if you do it too many times, you can get an F in the class. So that way, they're very, very strict, and therefore, not all the professors are that strict. So that's why it's always good to know your APA very, very well. And so that's why, and sometimes you may not be doing a website, resource. You might be doing a book, a journal, some other kind of, source. That's why it's good to have the APA manual, and you can look it up. You could also look at the OWL Purdue library as well. And if you want to, if you're at the very beginning, you could download your own APA paper. You Google Diana Hacker APA paper, and then you can download that paper for yourself. Then you can look at it. So there are many different ways in which you can learn APA. But from English 101, one of the main purposes of English 101, this class, is for you to become familiar with how to do an APA research paper. And so you need to know how to do the in-text citations, reference citations, so that when you enter your psychology class, your biology class, you're not going to be totally lost. So that's the reason why I go over APA much earlier, because in this class you don't do it until the 10th week. And then, as I said last week, or the week before, that you got to know APA sooner. So I am going over it sooner. And also, when you write your papers, you need to have an effective thesis statement, because that's the last thing I'm going to cover for this week, unless there's something else in the quizzes. So that's my one last thing. So what else do you want me to cover? So I'm going to go over a thesis statement. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. So if you're going to write an effective thesis statement, what are the 3 parts of a thesis statement? Did I go over that with you already?
No.
No? Oh, okay. That's the other
Well,
part.
maybe you made a video. I have to watch the video. I see you made a video. But I know you told me I know where it goes, and I know what it's supposed to do. I didn't know that it was like 3 concise parts of it.
Yeah. When you write your persuasive, in this class, you're going to be writing a persuasive essay. So in other words, after we finish the week 6, the final draft of this essay, then you're going to be doing 2 different essays. You're going to be doing a comparison contrast essay, and you're going to be doing a persuasive essay. So when you do the persuasive essay, that's when this particular thesis statement becomes really important. So when you write, and plus the persuasive and argumentative essay are the most common types of essays you're going to write in college. And so therefore, actually there are 8 kinds of essays, but that's a different lecture. And so, what was I going to say? Yeah, so the thesis statement is 3 parts. You have to have the topic, the opinion, and then 3 reasons. So I call that TOR. So TOR. In order to have an effective thesis statement, you have to have both the what and the why. In other words, what are you talking about, and why is that true? So therefore, when you write a good thesis statement, you make a claim, that is the what, and then you back it up with good reasons from credible sources. That's the why. That's the reasons. So TOR is the what, and the reasons are the why. And if you just have one or the other, then you have an ineffective thesis statement. So if I simply say abortion is immoral without any reasons, so that would be considered an ineffective thesis statement. And that would also be, and also when you write your thesis statement, you have to avoid saying, in my paper, I will discuss, for instance.
Right, I saw that.
Everybody does that. and those words are not necessary. So instead, you cut out those words and you just say, get to the point and say, abortion is immoral because reason 1, reason 2, reason 3. Now let's say you get stuck on what those 3 reasons should be. And then you can use ChatGPT for idea generation, brainstorming. So then you would write in ChatGPT, what are the 3 reasons why abortion is immoral? And then press the button. It will give you 3 good reasons. And then you can use those 3 reasons as your thesis statement. Once you write your 3 reasons, your TOR, then each of the 3 reasons, as I said before, can become your body paragraphs. Then if you get stuck on what to write within the paragraphs, instead of asking ChatGPT to write your essay for you, the problem with that is ChatGPT can make it up. Some of the facts are fiction and some of the facts are true. You don't know which is which. So that's why if you use ChatGPT, you still have to do your own research, your own reading, and get the sources from Google Scholar or from the Fortis database where you can get peer-reviewed articles. So that's one of the weaknesses of AI, is it's still not reliable yet for sources. So then, but you can use ChatGPT to help you write an outline. So you could ask ChatGPT, write an outline for my paper telling me why abortion is immoral. It will then generate an outline, and then you can follow that outline based on your research. Okay? And so you would simply say, write an outline of why abortion is immoral because of, and then write in the 3 reasons. And in other words, you type in your entire thesis statement. Abortion is immoral because, and then type in the 3 reasons that you found in your either your research or from ChatGPT from an earlier, session. And then it will generate it for you in this correct order, okay? So let's say you finish, then you sit back, you write your paper, and then you can come back to ChatGPT to ask ChatGPT to help you revise your paper for better, give me essay, then we enter the peer review zone, okay? Give me essay feedback for grammar, essay structure, tone, sentence structure, and fix all and grammar errors and so on and so forth, and it will then give you the essay feedback. And this is true not just for English 101. This is true for anything that you write in other classes. So let's say you have a psychology paper, but you're not sure if your psychology paper makes sense, or you can even ask ChatGPT. You input it and ask it, does this paper make sense? Does this paper have a central idea? And if what suggestions do you have to improve this paper? So it's not simply give me essay feedback. That's just one way of writing. You can actually ask it as if it's a human tutor, okay? And ask, what does it make sense? Did I go off topic? And if so, where? And stuff like that. So any questions weaknesses that you feel your paper might have, you would put it into that prompt and then press your button, and then ChatGPT will tell you, your paragraph number 2 is really weak. And then ChatGPT might ask you, would you like me to revise it for you? And yes, ChatGPT 4.0, not 3.5, but 4.0 will actually automatically revise everything for you. So when I do so the very first, so I have the free version of 4.0. So the first 10 or 15 students I have, they all get the revised essays, okay, automatically. And then the last 10 to 15 students, then the 4.0 the goes away, and I end up with 3.5. I know you guys don't notice that. So whomever I start out with actually gets better ChatGPT output than whomever I finish with, because you only get so many. You only get so many. Fortunately, students don't notice the difference, because there's very little difference in the output. In other words, the first 15 students get a revised essay all rewritten for them, and the last 15 students just get the essay feedback. And most people are just grateful just for the essay feedback. And so sometimes I will start one class one day first. I try to take turns. So that way, so that's why the first 15 students get the best output. So it's good to it's good to, and if you're the very first student, you get the first come first serve with ChatGPT. And there are other AIs. There's Google Gemini, Google Bard, which same thing. So if you go to Google, it has its own AI, and if you go to Bing AI, that's Microsoft, they also have their own AI. Actually, Microsoft is that's 4.0. That same thing as ChatGPT. So I went a lot about, so that's another way to do peer review. And so I've just given you many different ways in which you can do peer review. And then next week we're going to go over revision the old-fashioned way, minus, minus ChatGPT. Because I think of ChatGPT the way you have the calculator. In other words, you still have to learn how to add, subtract, multiply. That way, when you use your calculator, you understand when you put in 2 times 2 what that means. So I always feel that that a student has to learn the basics of writing and revision first, like learning your addition and multiplication, division, and then you use ChatGPT as a tool. I'm actually in the middle of writing a fictional story science fiction story where people become so reliant on AI, they forgot how to think for themselves. And then you've got the heroes time travel from the past to travel into the future, and then they find all these feeble-minded people who can't make decisions by the smallest decisions. What am I going to have for dinner? What should I wear today? They just can't do it without their AI. And the AI is starting to die because the circuits are starting to get old. Nobody knows how to fix it anymore because for so many generations, the AI fixed itself. So after several generations, humans have lost the ability to fix things. Humans have lost the ability to think for themselves critically or make even daily decisions. They don't remember, how do you turn on that light again? How does that TV remote work? That sort of thing. Because you just tell AI, turn on the TV, turn on the lights. And you don't know that there's a switch that makes it go up. And so then these time travelers from the past then come and they're surprised. They go, why, you just turn on the lights with the light switch. You don't know that? They're so surprised. And then when the AI starts breaking down, then the people beg, can you help fix our AI? And so on and so forth. So that's one of my latest stories is because I think that's why I think it underscores why I think it's important that you maintain creative thinking, critical thinking skills, and stuff like that. So I'm working on that particular story. I like writing because it's fun, and as I tell my other class, that writing is an escape. It's a way for me to build another world in which I can tell the heroes what to do. It's like you're playing God. You can put you put their thoughts into their heads. You determine when they live or die or come alive again and stuff like that. So but for me it's a great escape, the writing. So that's for the other class. They're talking about what motivates writers. Anyway, but for you guys, it's learning basic essay structure, thesis statement, and peer review. And so have you looked at the peer review PowerPoint?
I was trying to open it before, but it was right before I got on with you. Right. And I couldn't, but I could see it now.
Oh, okay.
It downloaded on my
Oh, okay, all right. So do you have any? So you can look that over, and then if you have any questions, you can always email me. And it's much faster. Okay. It's much faster if you look it over yourself than if you listen to me talking about it. Because the way when I look at other people's PowerPoint, I just go like ding 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 ding. Really, it goes really fast because I don't have to listen to that person talking and yak 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 because I can read faster than people talk. So for me, I like reading the transcript. When there's a video, I'll just go straight to the transcript. I can read it in like a couple of minutes. Somebody's 30-minute talk or something like that. And then I would only listen to the parts of the talk that interests me, you see. So you can that's one of the fun parts of when I listen to other people's videos. I'm not gonna, right now I've been talking for 29 minutes and 36 seconds. I would not be listening for all 29 minutes. At most 10 minutes. So therefore, I flip through the whole thing like I would a newspaper. You know, you look at the headlines, you just look at the important parts, maybe listen for 2 or 3 minutes. I have a 2 or 3 minute window in which I can actually focus and remember. And then after that, it's something else. So everybody does that. But anyway, that's why I like looking at other people's transcripts and PowerPoints. That way, I can go at my pace, you see. So I know that other people, I don't expect anybody to actually listen for 30 minutes and 16 seconds. and your voice can't even take it anymore anyway. So, do you have any questions?
No, thank you so much. I'm on it.
You're on it, yeah.
Yeah, we have to. So this week.
Oh, don't say anything personal. I'm going to wrap this up for the rest of the class and wrap up the recording.
Okay.
So I just want to tell everyone that if you have any questions, feel free to email me at any time. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to the Professor H Writing channel. And now, see you all next week.